Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's session. I see we still have some people filing in. So I'm going to give everybody a minute or two to join. So we have some more people joining the call here. Welcome to the session. If you're just joining, we're going to take a minute or two to let the rest of our attendees join on the line. All right, if you're just joining, we're going to take one more minute or so to let the rest of our registrants join the line, and then we'll get things started. Okay, I think we're just about ready to kick things off. So thank you everyone for joining us for today's session. If you're not familiar with our Torque Talk session, we hold these once every month. They're generally about 30 minutes, and they're created as a chance to give our users, our partners, anyone who's interested in Torque, a chance to see the product in action and go take a deep dive on one specific use case. Today's session, we're going to show how to prevent updates to your infrastructure as code from disrupting performance for your live cloud environments. Before we kick things off and pass it over to your speaker, we're going to, I just want to do a little housekeeping first. First thing to note that this is an interactive session, right? These are all very informal. So if you have any questions, please submit them through our Q&A. I will be watching those on the back end and make sure that our speaker gets a chance to answer your questions when we do Q&A at the end of the session. And be on the lookout tomorrow. We will be sending the recording out. So if you're not able to join for the full session, you'll get the recording in your inbox tomorrow. Today presenting, we have Evgeny from our R&D team. He is an expert in Torque, so if you have any questions on the product or anything you see today, please don't be shy. He will be able to answer them for you. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Evgeny to kick things off.
Hey, thank you, Colin, for the introduction. Today we're going to be discussing how we can find out about the infrastructure as code changes and how we can prevent it from disrupting our live environments. So the session will have some introduction where we'll talk about the problem that if you're not familiar with it, then we'll have a demo session about our product and how Torque solved that for you. And then we'll have Q&A session, as Colin said. So to illustrate the problem, pretend that you have in your organization producers who are the infrastructure team who create some kind of application, whether it's Terraform or OpenTofu, IaC module, and some consumers application team which use this module to deploy their application. Okay, the application in our case is very simple. It's a basic Terraform that takes something from AWS parameter store, some kind of value, and then writes this value to a S3 bucket in AWS. And the application of the application team basically reads this information and processes the file, this information for the further use. Now, there are already many environments live in our cloud accounts with this application it's running. Some developers may have it, product managers may have it, quality assurance members may have this environments. And everyone works fine just until now. When CISO discovered there's some vulnerability in our submodule that we're using in our Terraform module, and then he asked infrastructure team to update the Terraform module in the repository, and then essentially everybody else have to update it to be compliant. and secure. Okay, so now infrastructure team have some kind of challenge because they need to understand who is affected by this change, how to update this environment. So the all alive environments will have this change once the update is finished, and what this update may cause, right? Because it might have a side effect and might be destructive for the environment. So once we understand the problem, I will show you now Torque and how we do that in Torque and how we solve this problem in Torque and give you the tools to solve that yourself. So the demo session will start with, I will onboard repository, then I will show infrastructure as code assets within that repository. We'll deploy an environment from any of those assets. Then we'll create a blueprint, which is a unit that we use in Torque to track, update, and govern assets. And we'll make updates to that asset in our GitHub repository that we onboarded in the first step. And then we'll show you what effect this asset might have, an update on this asset might have on your live environments. Then we'll commit the update for this specific environment or any other environments. Okay, so let's just jump to the product and see. Okay, so this is Torque. If you're not familiar with it, there's many things you can do with it, but when you start working with the product, first thing you need to do is to add the repository to it. We'll be using my GitHub repository, which has already multiple assets in it. And I have pre-configured credentials that I can use for this specific repository. We support any kind of repositories, as you can see here. Now, what happens behind the scene, we run to this repository and we discovered 9 assets that we have in our repository of different type, Ansible, Kubernetes, Terraform, and Helm. Okay, and all you can see now is a map of all the types of assets that you have in your repository, which already can help you with, because many times there's many hidden files and you don't even know what they are. Now, let's take a look deeply into those assets. So first of all, what you see is the path within the repository to this asset, what the type of the asset is, and which repository it came from, because you may have many repositories for that. And the asset that we used in the presentation was the asset that takes parameter from SSM and writes it to S3 bucket, right? So we'll be using the same asset right now. All I need to do now to spin up environment, I will just click launch and launch the environment. Meanwhile, it will take some time to launch this environment and run actually the steps that do that. I will go over to the asset and will show you how you can create a blueprint having this asset on any other assets within it, and then you will be able to track and govern and calculate pricing, calculate costs and everything, and allow to have some permissions and so basically I will create it. The sound just cut off. So basically I'm creating now a blueprint from this asset, this one, the one we're talking about. And I'm gonna name it demo. And now I create blueprint and I can save it. Now I can apply policies to it and use any kind of image I want in catalog design, rename it, for other members of Torque of my organization can use it later. Then we can go back to the environment and see that it actually finished running. It ran all the steps and it created everything that I asked it to do. In this specific case, it took a value from SSM and put this value in S3 bucket. Now, I'm going to be making change to this asset right now, and I want Torque to take and understand that there was a change to that environment, and what it will trigger. It will basically show us the information that this environment might be changed, might need to be changed, and then I will have to make the decision whether I should do that or no. So all I will be doing, I'll be just adding something simple as changing the name of the file it will be written to. Now, when it discovers the change, let's go over and see what actually happened and how you can discover that there was some kind of change and what potential damage it could cause. So now if you see that asset from before, it has two usages. It has one blueprint that I created in a few previous steps and the actual environment that we currently updated. If we'll get inside the asset and we'll go to input mapping, the beta feature that we're working on, I will see that asset is used by this blueprint that we created in previous steps and some environments that currently one of them is active and another were the environments that we're testing, preparing this demo. Okay, I can actually go and see what kind of environment and what kind of change set of this file in the repository I've been using when I deployed the environment. And I can go and get some more information about this specific file. Okay, I can even sync the information from that file to the product and make this file more live. Okay, so now from this point, I can take the decision what environments there are and what blueprints are used, and the blueprints are units for us to track information and apply policies to it within the product, like environments, like a blueprint for the environment. And now I can make a decision. I can go to my live environment from here and see the change that I pushed. Did I? Yeah. Okay, so the change was discovered, and now I can go actually and see what happened. And the change I made before, I just added new to the file name. It can be any change. And from this point, I can decide whether the update is needed, whether I want this update or not. And I just can click on the update, approve that. I can have some complex approval flows for that if I need to, and wait for this to be completed, and it will be completed within a few seconds. So meanwhile, while I'm doing that and it's updating the spaces, I will walk you through again everything that happened. I added the repository, onboarded the repository. It discovered many different kind of assets that we support in our system. Then we deployed the environment from this specific asset. We made a change to this asset. We've seen this change being discovered, and we looked at what kind of live environments and potential live environments, what we call blueprint, may be affected by this change. We investigated that we can look into specific commits and see which commit were deployed to the specific environment, and run the update on the environment we actually needed. So the update was finished. the environment is again active. And I guess this is it for the demo.
All right, thank you, Evgeny. We did get a couple questions here, so thank you for those who sent them in. One of the early ones we got was a question about the IaC tools that we support. What types of IaC does Torque support? Evgeny, I think you're on mute if you got me.
Yeah, right. I was talking to myself for a minute, right? So
No problem.
Anyway, so we're using Terraform OpenTofu like I showed in presentation. We support Ansible, we support Kubernetes, we support CloudFormation, files, and Helm.
Oh, great. We did get a specific question about Terraform. Somebody asked, can you identify changes in Terraform submodules?
Yes, we can do that with Terraform submodules and OpenTofu as well, because it's like the same presentation of that. Yeah, we will discover changes. We'll show you the changes, and you will be able to decide whether you want to update your environment or not.
Great. One of the other questions we got asked about information on specific commits. Can we provide that information?
Yeah, we've seen the information on specific commit like I showed in the demo, and every time you go through the update screen, you have the ability to see the change was made to this specific commit to the in difference to the previous commit.
Great. There's only one more question that's come through so far. If anybody has any others, please submit them now. We'll probably wrap up if we don't get any others. But the only other question we got is if there's a way to update bulk environments to the latest version of an IaC module.
Yeah, actually, great question. It's not available in the product yet, but we're working on it right now, so it's going to be soon. You will have a screen where you will be able to select multiple environments and based on your decision to update them.
Great. Looking forward to that. We send out an email newsletter once per month to all our users, so you can get updates on things like that when new product features have launched. So I encourage you to please come to the website, start a trial of Torque, request a trial of Torque, and someone on our team will help you get started, and that will make sure that you are in the loop on all those product updates. Thank you, Evgeny, for taking the time to present this and to build this presentation. Thank you to our guests for joining us today. This was a great session. And as always, thank you to Corey in the back end for making everything work here today. We will see you all next month.